Alien General Zarkon stood on the observation deck of the flagship Dreadspire, his massive claws resting on the smooth, black railing. His eyes, glowing a sharp emerald green, scanned the holographic projection of Earth spinning below. He sneered. "Look at this planet," he said, voice dripping with mockery. "Overrated. Overhyped. A so-called deathworld." Beside him, his second-in-command, Lieutenant Vorn, chuckled. "Indeed, General. The humans seem primitive. Their weapons are barely more than toys compared to our plasma disruptors." Zarkon's tail lashed in irritation. "Primitive? They are nothing. We could conquer this world in a single strike and still have time for leisure." The alien council in the background nodded in agreement, their scaly faces reflecting amusement. Yet, one detail gnawed at Zarkon. Something small, almost invisible in the hologram, moved too fast for his sensors. He waved it off. "No matter. Let's send a scouting team. I want to see these dangerous humans up close." Meanwhile, on Earth, in a quiet research facility tucked deep within a forested area, humans worked diligently. Dr. Emily Carter, a young scientist with sharp eyes and a calm demeanor, adjusted a small device that hummed with energy. Around her, colleagues scurried, some monitoring screens, others calibrating instruments. None of them noticed a sudden shimmer in the sky, a tiny, almost imperceptible anomaly. Emily tilted her head. "Something's off," she muttered. Her assistant, Jason, glanced up. "Just the weather?" he asked. "No. Sensors don't lie," she replied. "This is different. High energy readings. Too precise to be natural." Before Jason could respond, a beam of light split the sky. A sleek alien craft descended, barely making a sound. Trees bent under the sudden gust, and birds scattered into the sky. Humans froze, staring at a shimmering vessel that landed gracefully on the forest floor. On the deck of the Dread Spire, Zarkon's grin widened. "There it is. A scouting team will observe, infiltrate, and report back. Nothing will escape our control." The scouts, 6 in number, suited in reflective armor that shimmered like liquid metal, materialized inside the craft. Each carried energy rifles calibrated to disintegrate any resistance. Their leader, Commander Xylo, bowed sharply. "General," Xylo said, voice precise and cold, "we will test the humans' defenses. Minimal risk expected." "Good," Zarkon hissed, leaning over the railing. "Remember, these creatures are beneath us. Show no mercy, but observe carefully. I want the full picture." The scouts approached the forest's edge, moving silently among the shadows. The humans, unaware, continued their work. Jason noticed a subtle ripple in the air and pointed it out. "Dr. Carter, look," he whispered. Emily squinted. "They're here," she said calmly. "Not attacking yet, but they're watching." The scouts crept closer, their armor reflecting fragments of sunlight. One fired a scanning beam, sweeping over the humans. Emily's device beeped. She pressed a button, and the beam dispersed harmlessly into thin air. Jason's jaw dropped. "How did you—" Emily held a finger to her lips. "Not now." The scouts moved with predatory precision, assuming the humans were weak. Unaware of the subtle defenses Emily had set up, she had anticipated observation long before the aliens arrived. Small drones hovered invisibly, sending false heat signatures. Motion sensors disguised as rocks scattered across the forest floor. Every step the scouts took was being watched and manipulated. Back on the Dread Spire, Zarkon sipped a glowing fluid from a crystalline cup. His eyes flickered with amusement. They will panic eventually. All humans do. But something in the monitors caught his attention. A tiny human, a girl, no older than 16, appeared in front of the scout team. She held a small device, unassuming, yet emitting pulses the aliens could not read. She smiled faintly and tapped it. Immediately, one scout's energy rifle went dead. Sparks flew from its circuits. Another tripped over a camouflage net, crashing into a bush with a loud thud. Xylo barked orders, but confusion spread among the team. Zarkon's eyebrow twitched. Curious, the humans aren't adapting? Emily crouched behind a boulder, watching the chaos unfold. "They think they are predators," she whispered, "but they're in my world now." The alien scouts regrouped, their confidence shaken. Xylo growled in frustration. This cannot be happening. We are superior. How can such simple creatures resist? Emily's smile widened. Simple? Maybe. But clever? Absolutely. She pressed another button. Tiny drones zipped out from the trees, invisible to the naked eye, intercepting the scouts' communications. Commands back to the Dreadspire were garbled. Zarkon's council watched in real time, puzzled by the sudden miscommunication. The scouts tried again. This time, they attempted to encircle the humans. But Emily anticipated this. Small trenches concealed in the foliage caused the aliens to stumble. One fell with a loud crash, sending a chain reaction that toppled another. Jason whispered, amazed, "They're falling over themselves." Emily nodded. "And they will continue to underestimate us. That's their biggest mistake." From above, Zarkon's tail flicked in irritation. What are they doing?" he hissed, nearly snapping the railing with his claws. "Xylo, report." Xylo's voice was tight, strained. "General, the humans, they are resisting. Not with strength, but strategy. Our sensors cannot fully predict their actions." Zarkon slammed his fist against the railing. "Impossible. These creatures are not capable of—" A sudden flash appeared on the monitor. The tiny human girl had done something remarkable. She deployed a small energy net that immobilized one scout entirely, while the other struggled to avoid it. Sparks flew, circuits fried, and for the first time, Zarkon felt a pang of unease. On the ground, the scouts were in disarray. Xylo barked orders, but each command seemed to fail before execution. They stumbled, slipped, and misfired. The humans watched silently, calm but alert. Emily whispered to Jason, "Remember this moment. Most will underestimate the humans. That is the key." Jason nodded, on his eyes. "I never thought we could actually fight them." Emily smiled. "Not fight them. Outsmart them. That's how we survive." Back on the flagship, Zarkon's pride was bruised. They are not as weak as I thought," he admitted, voice tight. His claws drummed nervously on the railing. "Send reinforcements. Now." The council murmured, worried. "General, perhaps this planet is more dangerous than expected?" Zarkon glared at them. "No, it cannot be. I am Zarkon. No human can stand against me. Prepare the full strike fleet. Earth will fall." A small alert blinked on his console. The scouts were sending back garbled, fragmented images. Zarkon leaned closer. His jaw dropped. The humans had captured one scout entirely, holding it as if it were a fragile toy. Silence filled the observation deck. Not a single council member spoke. Zarkon felt something he had never felt before: fear. Meanwhile, Emily crouched in the forest, watching the captured alien twitch helplessly in her device's energy cage. "This is only the beginning," she said softly. Jason looked at her, astonished. "Do you think we can really stop them?" Emily's eyes glinted with determination. "Stop them? No. We'll show them humans are not weak. We'll make them regret ever mocking our world." The forest was silent except for the faint hum of her devices and the distant crash of the fallen scouts. Yet in that quiet, something powerful shifted. For the first time, the humans held the advantage, not with brute force, but with cleverness, preparation, and courage. And far above, in the cold emptiness of space, alien General Zarkon learned a lesson that would sting for a long time. Never underestimate the creatures you think are small. The unexpected turning point had arrived, and Earth was ready. Alien General Zarkon slammed his claw against the console, the sound echoing through the Dreadspire. Sparks flew from the damaged panel. Yet his anger burned brighter than the malfunctioning electronics. He had never expected humans to resist so effectively, not with weapons, not with numbers, but with mind and cunning. "They're nothing. They're supposed to crumble under our power." Zarkon roared, his voice bouncing off the deck walls. Lieutenant Vorn, standing nervously beside him, swallowed hard. "General, their actions. It's unusual. They anticipate our every move. Our scouts, they are failing." Zarkon's eyes narrowed. "No, this is impossible. Send in the secondary strike team. If these humans are clever, they will learn the hard way why no worlds stand against Zarkon. Meanwhile, on Earth, Emily Carter observed the captured scout. Its armor, once sleek and intimidating, now sparkled under her device's energy field, rendered completely harmless. Jason crouched nearby, shaking his head. They thought they could crush us in seconds, and now look at them, he whispered. Emily smiled, tapping a few commands. They'll keep learning, slowly. Patience is our weapon. From a forest canopy, more alien ships began to descend, sleek and dark against a fading sun. Each one carried armed teams, confident, arrogant, and unaware that the humans were ready. Emily pressed her fingers to the small console in her hands. Holographic lines of strategy unfolded before her eyes. Every movement of the alien strike teams was predicted. Every step they took was already accounted for. Jason's eyes widened. "You've planned everything?" Emily nodded. "Not everything, but enough to make them underestimate us again." In the forest, the first wave of alien troops stepped cautiously, scanning for resistance. They had learned nothing from the previous encounter. Each thought the humans were fragile, easy prey. The humans had prepared cleverly. Camouflage pits had spikes that could disable exosuits. Motion sensors, disguised as rocks, triggered holographic illusions of humans where none existed. Tiny drones buzzed silently above, invisible but ready to intercept any communications. As the aliens advanced, Emily released a small device, a pulse emitter. It sent disorienting waves, causing the scout sensors to misread the environment. One scout stumbled into a shallow pit, flailing, while another accidentally fired a projected image, wasting energy. Jason laughed softly. "They're doing everything wrong, and it's kind of funny." Emily smirked. "Funny for us, deadly for them. And the best part? They think it's luck." High above, Zarkon's console blinked erratically. Reports came in, fragmented and confusing. "General, another scout down," Vorn said quietly. They didn't even touch a human. The terrain, the traps, they're falling into everything. Zarkon's tail whipped in anger. "I will not be mocked by insects. Deploy the full strike fleet. I want Earth crushed, its forests burned, its cities flattened. Every human shall kneel before me." On Earth, Emily heard the faint rumble of engines above. She looked up, calm. "They're bringing in reinforcements," she said to Jason. "Good. Let them come." Jason frowned. "You're not worried?" Emily shook her head. "No. They think power is strength. We'll show them that intelligence is stronger than force." The alien strike fleet descended rapidly, casting massive shadows over the forest. Trees bent and snapped under the weight of the energy shields, while the ground trembled with every landing. Zarkon strode toward the holographic map, claw tracing each move of the humans. "We will show them who rules the galaxy. They will not defeat me." But for the first time, Zarkon noticed something strange. Each human move seemed one step ahead of his predictions. Every trap he anticipated had a countermeasure ready. Every ambush he planned was anticipated, foiled, or turned against him. Emily had prepared this moment carefully. The humans were not hiding. They were baiting the aliens into overconfidence. A small detachment of soldiers moved quietly, leaving traces for the aliens to follow, guiding them into traps without them realizing it. The first wave of reinforcements landed. Alien soldiers marched confidently into the forest. Their armor glinted, weapons at the ready, but the forest itself seemed alive. Hidden nets, invisible tripwires, and automated drones greeted them, disrupting formations and causing confusion. One soldier fired at a moving figure only to realize it was a hologram. Another slipped into a shallow pit covered with leaves, tumbling into a mess of vines. Chaos spread to the alien ranks like wildfire. Zarkon's monitor flashed repeatedly. "Impossible. How do they know every step we take?" Vorn hesitated. "General, perhaps they are learning from our actions?" Zarkon roared. "Learning? They are insignificant. No species can outthink Zarkon." Meanwhile, Emily crouched in her observation point, her small figure barely visible amidst the shadows. She watched as the alien forces stumbled into traps after traps. Every misstep was carefully orchestrated to frustrate and humiliate them without physical violence. Jason shook his head, amazed. They're helpless, and they don't even know it. Emily nodded. Exactly. And when the general sees this, he'll realize the danger too late. Above the forest, Zarkon's ship hovered, massive and imposing. But for the first time, the general felt a ripple of uncertainty. Reports of scouts captured, soldiers trapped, and unexpected countermeasures flooded the console. His tail lashed nervously. His pride burned, but so did a tiny spark of fear. Send in the elite, Zarkon hissed. If humans are clever, we will crush them with superior skill. The elite strike team descended, sleek and disciplined. Unlike the previous troops, they were trained to adapt, to think, to anticipate. But Earth had already prepared for them. Emily tapped her device. A network of drones zipped through the trees, invisible to the aliens. Energy nets shot out, capturing exosuits and immobilizing soldiers. Small holographic projections created illusions of humans appearing everywhere at once. Every step of the aliens was anticipated, every move countered. The elite team, confident at first, quickly realized something was wrong. Commands were garbled. Sensors failed. One elite soldier raised his weapon only to find it immobilized midair, sparks dancing across the circuits. Zarkon's fury roared through the Dreadspire. What is happening? They are impossible. Vorn swallowed, whispering, General, maybe Earth is more than a simple death world. Zarkon turned on him, eyes blazing. Silence. They are nothing. This is merely a challenge, a test. We will not fail. On the ground, Emily smiled. The test has begun, she whispered. Jason frowned. You're calm, but they're bringing everything at us. Entire fleets, general-level forces. Emily shook her head. They rely on strength. We rely on mind and preparation. That is what wins wars. The humans continued to move silently through the forest, avoiding direct confrontation, letting the aliens fall into traps again and again. The aliens became clumsy, frustrated, and, above all, arrogant to their own detriment. The unexpected turning point was no longer a minor victory. It had become a full demonstration of human superiority in strategy, foresight, and ingenuity. Zarkon, watching in disbelief, realized that mocking Earth had been his first and biggest mistake. The forest echoed with the sounds of alien frustration. Commands shouted, weapons misfiring, soldiers tripping over unseen traps. Yet the humans moved like shadows, calm, composed, and unhurried. Emily crouched behind a tree, observing a squad of elite soldiers captured by a net. Let's keep them guessing, she said. Never let them see the full strength of Earth. Jason grinned. It's working. They're panicking. Emily nodded. Not panicking. They are learning humility. That is far more powerful than fear. Above, Zarkon clenched his claws, his pride shattered but not completely defeated. The humans had not won yet. But they had forced him to respect them, to reconsider every assumption he had made. For the first time, alien General Zarkon realized that Earth was not what he expected. It was alive, clever, and full of surprises. The underestimated planet was no longer a trivial target. It was a world of fear and respect. And far below, Emily Carter smiled, ready to show the aliens that every underestimated human carries the weight of Earth's strength in their mind and courage. The game had changed. The unexpected turning point had arrived, and Earth was no longer defenseless. Alien General Zarkon's claws dug into the armrest of his command throne. His massive frame trembled with a mix of anger and disbelief. On the monitors before him, his elite strike team struggled desperately in the forests of Earth. Sparks flew from malfunctioning armor. Exosuits toppled into hidden pits, and every command he sent out seemed to backfire in spectacular fashion. How can this be? Zarkon hissed, his voice a mixture of rage and astonishment. I am Zarkon. No world should defy me. And yet these humans... Lieutenant Vorn gulped. General, they are clever. Perhaps more clever than we anticipated. Zarkon's tail whipped across the floor. Clever? Ha! This is insolence. They are small, weak creatures. How can weakness feel so victorious? Back on Earth, Emily Carter crouched on a ridge overlooking the alien encampment. Her small frame blended perfectly with the terrain. Below, Alien troops struggled to navigate a forest that had been carefully modified for their downfall. Fallen branches, disguised pits, and holographic projections turned every simple maneuver into a potential trap. Jason, standing beside her, whispered, "They're completely lost. They don't even realize half the traps are fake." Emily smiled. "Exactly. Confusion is as powerful as firepower. The more they stumble, the more we win." Suddenly, a squad of alien soldiers charged forward, thinking they could finally corner a human. But as they stepped into a clearing, Emily pressed a small button. A series of nets shot up from the ground, capturing the squad mid-stride. At the same moment, miniature drones zipped overhead, dropping small magnetic pulses that short-circuited their weapons. Sparks erupted across their armor. The aliens fell in all directions, shrieking and yelling incomprehensibly. Jason laughed. "It's like watching toddlers in a maze." Emily's eyes gleamed. "And that, Jason, is how humans win. Not by strength, but by strategy." Inside the alien flagship, Zarkon's monitor flashed repeatedly. One elite squad after another reported failures, malfunctions, immobilization, or capture. "How can this happen?" he bellowed. "We are the most advanced species in the sector. Every move predicted, every tactic anticipated. And yet," Vorn hesitated, knowing the words might anger the general further. "Perhaps they're adapting, learning from our actions." Zarkon's eyes narrowed. "Adapting? Impossible. No species can match Zarkon's intelligence. We will crush them." He slammed a claw against the console, sending a ripple of sparks across the monitors. Back in the forest, Emily had already anticipated the general's arrogance. She tapped a series of commands into her portable console. Holographic decoys projected human silhouettes in multiple directions. Drones zipped through the canopy, sending out bursts of disorienting light. Alien troops fired blindly, striking nothing but shadows. One alien, a tall and bulky soldier, shouted in frustration, "Where are they? I can't see them." A small human figure, barely noticeable, popped out from behind a tree and tapped the device. The alien soldier's weapon sparked and fell from his hands. He stumbled backward, falling into a shallow pit. Emily whispered to Jason, "Humans have patience. That's what makes the difference." Jason shook his head in disbelief. "Patience? They're tiny. How can they control so much chaos?" Emily smiled. "Because intelligence is louder than brute strength." The alien general, still watching from above, began to sweat. This was not part of the plan. No one in the council had ever failed as badly on a mission. Scouts immobilized, elite squads humiliated, communications disrupted. Zarkon's pride had taken the first serious hit. "Send reinforcements," he shouted. "The humans cannot resist forever." But every reinforcement suffered the same fate. Invisible traps, holographic illusions, and calculated misdirection turned every step into disaster. One squad fell into a pit disguised as solid ground, while another wandered into a net that held them upside down like captured prey. Zarkon's snarl shook the flagship. "Enough! Bring me the humans. I will deal with them personally." On Earth, Emily heard the distant rumble of the alien dropships. She looked up calmly, her expression unreadable. "They're coming," she said. Jason's eyes widened. "The general himself?" Emily nodded. "Yes, and that is when things get interesting." A column of alien forces emerged from the ships, led by Zarkon himself. His massive figure towered above the trees, his glowing eyes scanning for threats. The humans didn't flinch. Instead, they continued their strategic retreat, guiding the aliens further into prepared zones. The forest seemed alive, bending to the humans' plan. Hidden pits, tripwires, and holographic projections made the aliens stumble and falter at every step. Zarkon's soldiers began to panic, unsure whether to follow orders or flee from the invisible dangers. Zarkon roared in frustration. "Move! Stop hesitating!" Emily crouched atop a ridge, her eyes locked on the general. She activated her final device, a massive pulse emitter she had been preparing for weeks. It sent a wave of energy that jammed the alien sensors and disrupted their coordination. Zarkon's massive form froze mid-step, unable to move as the field pulsed around him. Jason whispered, awestruck. It worked on him. Emily smiled faintly. Of course. Even the strongest can be humbled by intelligence and preparation. Zarkon struggled, his claws digging into the ground. Sparks flew from his armor as his systems overloaded. For the first time in his life, he felt powerless. The general who mocked Earth as overrated now trembled before a girl who had anticipated every move. The alien troops, seeing their leader immobilized, panicked completely. Some fled, others tripped into traps, and a few froze entirely, overwhelmed by confusion. Emily signaled to the humans nearby. They moved silently, capturing or disabling the remaining soldiers with precision. Zarkon's voice boomed in the forest, shaking the trees. How? How is this possible? I am the conqueror of worlds. Emily stepped forward slightly, small but confident. Not conqueror, she said softly, but learner. You underestimated us. That is your mistake. Zarkon's pride burned like fire. His massive frame strained against the pulse field. I will not. But even his anger could not override the human strategy. Every plan he attempted was countered, every move anticipated, every strike turned back on him. The forest echoed with alien frustration, a symphony of confusion and humiliation. As the night fell, Emily activated one final holographic sequence. Trees shimmered, rocks glowed, and multiple decoys appeared all around. Zarkon's troops fired blindly, energy bolts sparking against invisible shields. The general roared in frustration, unable to distinguish real humans from illusions. Jason whispered, amazed, "They're completely lost." Emily nodded. Yes, and they will remain lost until they learn humility. Zarkon's pride had been shattered. He had mocked Earth as overrated, small and weak. Yet here he was, immobilized, humiliated, and entirely at the mercy of a few humans using intelligence and preparation rather than strength. By the end of the night, the alien forces were scattered. Zarkon, forced to retreat temporarily, glared at Earth from the sky. His pride had been crushed, his arrogance humbled, and his respect for humans reluctantly earned was undeniable. Emily stood atop a hill, watching the alien ships retreat. Jason came up beside her. We actually did it. We stopped them. Emily shook her head, smiling. We didn't just stop them. We showed them something they will never forget. Earth is not weak. Humans are clever, resourceful, and never to be underestimated. In the shadows, the captured scouts and soldiers twitched, powerless and humiliated. Zarkon's name, once feared across galaxies, would now be remembered with embarrassment. A lesson in underestimating the small and clever. And far above, alien General Zarkon learned the most painful truth. Mocking humans was his first and greatest mistake. The escalation had begun, and he was already losing. Alien General Zarkon hovered above the forest in his massive flagship, the Dread Spire, his eyes blazing with fury and disbelief. For the first time in his long, terrifying career, a species had made him feel small. Below, the humans were not just surviving. They were commanding the battlefield without firing a single destructive shot. Every trap, every hologram, every carefully placed drone had humiliated the alien forces and left them confused and afraid. Zarkon's claws clenched. This cannot continue. I am Zarkon. No world should defy me. Lieutenant Vorn hesitated beside him. General, perhaps it is time to reconsider our approach? These humans, they are extraordinary. Zarkon's tail lashed violently. Reconsider? Never. Earth will bend or will break. Prepare the full assault. I will deal with them personally. Back on the ground, Emily Carter watched the alien flagship's shadow stretch over the forest. The humans had anticipated this move. Around them, the forest seemed alive with hidden technology, motion-triggered nets, hidden energy pulses, and holographic duplicates that made the aliens hesitate. Jason whispered, "They're bringing everything the general himself?" Emily nodded, her eyes calm. "Yes, but that's fine. He will learn the hardest lesson of all. Underestimating humans is fatal." The humans moved like shadows, guiding the alien forces into carefully prepared zones. Every step was calculated. Every action had a counter. The forest itself had become a weapon. The first wave of alien ships descended, Massive shadows against the twilight sky. Soldiers leaped from the airlocks, weapons blazing. But as they hit the ground, they discovered that nothing was as it seemed. Pits that looked shallow dropped them into immobilizing nets. Holographic decoys led them astray. Energy pulses disrupted their weapons, leaving them powerless. Zarkon, watching from above, could barely contain his fury. His elite soldiers, once confident, now scrambled blindly in confusion. "Move! Stop hesitating," he bellowed. One soldier tripped into a camouflage pit, flipping upside down in a net. Another tried to fire, only to have sparks shoot from their weapon. Chaos reigned. Emily crouched behind a ridge, her small figure almost invisible. She tapped the console, sending waves of disorienting signals into the alien sensors. Holographic duplicates of humans appeared, taunting the aliens from multiple directions. Jason whispered, amazed. They can't tell which one is real." Emily smiled. "And that, Jason, is the difference between strength and intelligence. They can crush anything with force, but force without brains is useless." The aliens fired blindly at shadows. Sparks flew. Screeches of frustration echoed through the trees. Even the most disciplined soldiers stumbled, falling into traps one after another. Zarkon realized, with a sinking feeling in his chest, that the battlefield had turned against him. The humans were not just surviving, they were humiliating his forces. He activated his personal combat exosuit, the largest and most advanced on his ship. Energy shields glowed, claws extended, and his voice thundered to the forest, "I am Zarkon. No human can oppose me." Emily watched, calm and composed. "This is it," she whispered to Jason. "Time for the final demonstration." The humans split into small squads, guiding the alien general into a clearing where multiple traps had been prepared. Hidden trenches, camouflage nets, energy pulses, and holographic duplicates surrounded him. Every move he made was anticipated, every strike misdirected. Zarkon roared and leaped forward, swinging massive claws. But a holographic duplicate blocked his path. Another appeared behind him. Confused, he swung again and stepped into a shallow pit disguised as solid ground. Sparks flew from his exosuit as energy nets immobilized his legs. Jason whispered, half laughing, He can't even stand up." Emily tapped her console again. The pulse field expanded, temporarily disabling his weapon systems. The mighty Zarkon, feared across galaxies, struggled to rise but was held firmly by human technology. The alien soldiers around him froze in panic. Their general, their supreme commander, was helpless. Zarkon roared, attempting to break free. His claws scraped against the energy net, sparks flying. "I am Zarkon. I will crush you." Emily stepped forward from her hiding spot, small but resolute. "No, Zarkon, you were wrong. Earth is not weak. Humans are clever, resilient, and united. Your arrogance is your downfall." Jason shook his head in awe. "She's fearless." Emily smiled faintly. "Fearless, yes, but careful. That's what wins wars. Strength alone is nothing if you cannot think." The alien general thrashed and roared, but every attempt to escape was countered. Small drones zipped through the air, further disrupting his exosuit. Holographic decoys made him spin in confusion. He had underestimated humans completely. Zarkon soldiers began to surrender or retreat, realizing that their leader, invincible in her eyes, was now powerless before small human force. From the shadows, humans moved silently, observing but not attacking. They allowed the general to learn his lesson fully, humiliating himself without direct confrontation. Emily pressed a final button. A low hum filled the clearing. The energy nets around Zarkon tightened slightly, holding him immobile. Holographic images swirled around him, showing multiple humans in all directions. Every attempt to strike failed. Every roar echoed uselessly. Zarkon realized, with bitter clarity, that he had been outsmarted, humiliated, and defeated without a single human being harmed directly. He glared at Emily, rage and disbelief flashing across his face. "Impossible, you are only human." Emily nodded calmly. "Exactly. And that is why Earth cannot be mocked. Humans are clever, resourceful, and unstoppable when underestimated." The alien soldiers retreated, leaving their general trapped. Zarkon's pride was shattered. Across the galaxy, his name was feared. But now, he would remember this defeat with embarrassment. He had mocked Earth, laughed at humans, and dismissed them as weak. And yet, here he was, immobilized by creatures he considered insignificant. Emily watched the retreating fleet. "This is what happens when arrogance meets intelligence," she whispered. Jason smiled. "We didn't just survive, we humiliated them." Emily nodded. "And we will continue to do so. Earth will always be underestimated until it's too late." As the alien flagship disappeared into the night sky, Zarkon seethed silently. The humans had won not by strength, not by sheer numbers, but by cleverness, patience, and preparation. His humiliation was complete. On Earth, the humans celebrated quietly. There were no grand displays, no explosions, just the satisfaction of knowing that a tiny species had survived, outsmarted, and triumphed against one of the most feared generals in the galaxy. Emily looked around at her team. "Remember this. Humans are never weak. We survive, we adapt, we outthink. And if someone underestimates us, they will regret it." Jason grinned. "They'll never look at Earth the same way again." Emily nodded, her gaze toward the sky. The stars shimmered above, peaceful and serene. Yet the humans had proven that even a small, underestimated species could stand tall against the most powerful in the universe. The unexpected had become reality. The mock planet had humbled the mighty alien general. Earth had shown that intelligence, courage, and strategy outweigh brute force every time. And far above, Zarkon learned a painful truth that he would never forget: never mock a human, never underestimate Earth, and never assume arrogance can conquer cleverness. The humans had struck back, and the galaxy had seen the power of Earth's true strength.